8.4, slope of a line. Slope. The slope of a line is the ratio of the line's vertical change to its horizontal change. Remember, the word ratio is a fraction. Rise. The line's vertical change between 2 points is its rise. It's the vertical change, up and down. Run. A line's horizontal change between 2 points is called its run. Horizontal, left and right. To find the slope, you take the rise over the run. This is what you'll need to remember. It's rise over run. Example 1 says, a building's access ramp has a rise of 2 feet and a run of 24 feet. Rise is 2 over the 24 feet. Simplify, and the slope is 1/12. The access ramp has a slope of 1/12. You want fractions as a slope. When you get fractions for your slope, it's very easy to see the rise versus the run. Again, slope is rise over the run. It is the difference of y coordinates over the difference of x coordinates. You have y over x. Probably the hardest thing to remember is to put the difference of y over the difference of x. So subtract the y's in your numerator, subtract the x's in your denominator. Let's look at this example. There's 2 points, 3, 1, 5, 4. Take the y coordinate of one of them. In this case, they use 4 first. And subtract the y coordinate of the second point. You can see I circled that in red, and that's what goes in your numerator. Now take the x coordinate of the same point with the 4, the first one you took, and subtract the x coordinate of the second point. 4 minus 1 is 3, over 5 minus 3 is 2. 3/2 is your slope. Again, leave it as a fraction. You want to have a fraction because the rise is 3, the run is 2. Do not change to a decimal. Let's find this one. Again, let's take the y coordinate of one of the points, and it does not matter which y you choose. So I'm going to choose the 7. And I will actually put mine over here just in case this is different. Subtract the other y in the second point, which is 2. Again, these are my y's over my x's. Here's the important part. When you do your x, you want to pick the number that belongs with the 7, and that number is 4. Subtract the number that belongs with the 2, the 1. You can see 1, 2 is an ordered pair, and 4, 7 is an ordered pair. Seven minus 2 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 over 3. That's your slope. Next, we have similar points, but as you can tell, this line is negative, which means the slope is going to be negative. Let's try this. Find the difference in y's. Pick a y. I'm going to pick -4. subtract a y. I'm going to pick 1. It's the only y left. I don't know why this keeps popping up. Divide by the corresponding x's. Here's the -4, so the x I need to put there is 7. The most important number is to make sure you place this 7 properly. This x coordinate has to belong to the y coordinate above. Subtract the other x, which is 2. And again, it does not matter which y you pick first. As you can see, this is the one they picked. You can change this subtraction to adding a negative, and -4 plus -1 is -5. 7 minus 2 is 5. Negative divided by a positive is a -1. Put that in a calculator, you can see that it's -1. The slope is -1. If you get a whole number or an integer like -1, you can leave it as an integer. You don't have to make it into a fraction. You can by putting it over 1. But you do not have to. You definitely could just leave it as -1. Find the slope of the line through the given points. Go ahead and try these yourself. You might want to pause the video. Remember to pick a y first. Number 1, pick a y. 4. Pick this one. Subtract another y, -2. Over what y goes with the 4? Well, I'm sorry, what x? What x goes with the 4? 0. Subtract what x goes with -2? 2. And solve. Add the opposite. Add the opposite. 2. I'm sorry, that's wrong. 4 plus 2, because we changed it to a positive, is 6 over 0 plus -2 is 6 divided by -2 is -3. Do the same thing with 2 and 3. You'll get 3/4. 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 3 is -1/4. Again, 4 minus 2. Then I can take -2 minus 6. Add the negatives. Add the negatives. -2. +2, because 4 is bigger. And 6 plus 2, -8. Simplify. You always want to simplify to 1/4. Example 3 is about 0 and undefined slope. Let's start by looking at the graph. The graph is a horizontal line. Horizontal lines have 0 slope. They have no slope, 0. Because think that you can walk on the floor or walk on the ground or walk on your carpet in the hall, and you're not going downhill, at least you shouldn't be. You're going 0 slope. You can actually find 0 slope by doing the same thing we've been doing. Pick a y coordinate. So 2. There's only 2's. Subtract the other y coordinate. Over, pick an x coordinate. What belongs with the 2? Well, they're both 2's, so it really doesn't matter. -2 minus 4. Add your opposites. Add your opposites. And you can write that into your box. Again, they picked a different x than I did, but that's okay. As long as the ordered pair is on top of each other. This becomes 0, and the bottom is 6. In my case, it's -6, but it doesn't change the answer. Take a calculator, put 0 divided by 6, or 0 divided by -6. If the 0 is in the numerator, the slope is 0. And you want to put down 0. In this case, I definitely would not leave it as a fraction just because it is 0. The slope is 0. Let's talk about the undefined line. Undefined lines are your vertical lines. Vertical lines make up the walls. And think about that. Can you walk on a wall? I know if you were Spider-Man, you can walk on the wall. If you had superpowers, I get it. But without all that, can you actually walk up the wall without getting hurt? No, you can't. What you end up doing, let's pick a y. So 2, subtract -4. You can see my x's this time are the same. And when I solve this, you get a 6 divided by a 0. You cannot divide by 0. So the answer is called undefined. You may want to write down somewhere that 0 divided by any number is going to be 0. So if 0's in the numerator, it's a 0 slope. If it's a number in the numerator and 0 is in the denominator, then you have undefined. I'm just going to abbreviate it. Undefined. You will see this on your vocab test, so make sure that you write that down. Again, try these 3. Let's talk about what the graph should look like if it's a positive, and you do not have to graph, but if it's a positive, the slope is going to go up like this. A negative goes down. 0 is a horizontal line, and undefined is a vertical line. And you can tell if it's positive or negative just by what the number is. If it's a positive number, it's a positive slope. If it's a negative number, it's a negative slope. If it's 0 over a number, it's a 0 slope. If it's a number over 0, it's an undefined slope. Again, pick an x, pick a y. Start with y's. Pick a y, subtract a y over x minus x.